Hello, this is Jeff DeMaso, Director of Research of Advisor Investments with another Advisor You Can Talk To podcast. Today I have as my guest Claudine Schrock, who is a Senior Account Manager. She works closely with clients to ensure their portfolios are appropriate for their goals and that their financial lives are in order and on track. Today, Claudine and I are going to talk a bit about why someone might hire an advisor and maybe some of the questions that they should ask an advisor when they're looking around. So Claudine, volatility has returned to the markets. We're down about 10% from the highs. For a do-it-yourselfer, is it time to hire an advisor? And if so, what questions are you getting from these investors who typically manage the money on their own?
Well, thanks for having me, Jeff. But a lot of these folks that we're hearing from recently are those self-managers, those do-it-yourselfers that are having a point of self-reflection and analysis in this period of volatility to say, am I doing the right thing with my money? Is my immediate reaction or inaction derailing what I had planned for my long-term goals and, how I would measure success? And I'd say that if you're having these potential internal conflicts, tussles, if you will, that it's probably time to at least consider talking with someone else and seeing what other options are out there for you.
All right, well, let's take the other side of that. When the markets are going well, as they were for the prior 15 months until we hit this patch of volatility, why would I hire an advisor then when everything's just going up?
I definitely say preparation and discipline. Almost kind of think of as an advisor as a coach in good times and bad, that they are helping you stick to a plan, understanding your goals, and getting you prepared for times of volatility like we've experienced last week, and or even a potential market correction. Volatility is a regular occurrence in the history of investing and something that I think every successful investor should kind of have in their back of their mind. But if you do a good job of partnering with your advisor, telling them exactly what's important to you and what your goals are, there should be enough groundwork and preparedness in place that what plan they have for you will anticipate the next volatility, the next correction, and help you kind of get through those periods of time with the least amount of stress as possible.
Okay. So I'm hearing you talking about planning. What you haven't really mentioned is performance. Should I hire an advisor just for their performance? And if they aren't outperforming, what am I paying them for?
Mm-hmm. Performance is absolutely trackable. It's an easy metric to follow and to kind of get hung up on, but I don't think it should be the end-all be-all to hiring a manager. Going back to the human element, having someone that understands the bigger picture, understands your goals, helps you meet your goals, and holds you accountable, I think is an extreme value that you can get in working with an advisor. You're less likely to remember what happened and what your performance was in, say, 2012 or 2013, but you will remember and feel extremely successful if the trusted advisor that you work with helps you meet your retirement goal, where you can live comfortably and you've made all of those goals come to fruition, or, paid for your kids' college or paid for your grandkids' college. I mean, that's kind of a goal you have to meet.
Yeah. No, I've talked to clients about that too. It's not, beating the index doesn't necessarily equal success.
Correct.
Nor does it say to pay for retirement or your kids' college that you have to beat the index.
Correct.
Each and every year. It's more of an unrealistic goal than what you're actually trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Certainly to get kind of back to personal finance. What's right for you might not be right for me. Your goals might be extremely different, and working with an advisor, I think they help you with that. They get to know that and they hold you accountable because it's a two-way street.
Yeah. But advisors can do a little bit more too than just keeping you accountable. They can also act as your financial, quarterback maybe.
Yes.
How do you think about that, or talk to clients or work with clients in that capacity?
I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff. That's one of the things that I really enjoy working with is it takes a village. We work with a woman right now who she had asked us if we wouldn't mind looking over her estate planning document. She's in her mid to late 70s. She's getting older. And she wants to make sure that she's looking forward to potential potholes that might be in her estate plan, as well as kind of figuring out a game plan to help her speak to her adult children about wealth, and her wishes for handling money if, God forbid, anything happened to her.
Right. So what common themes have you heard from investors who are looking for help and professional advice?
There's a lot of catalysts that are pretty similar that we hear quite often. One of the ones we hear a lot is stress. Claudine, I'm getting very stressed out. I'm not sleeping. I'm constantly thinking about my portfolio and the performance and, what's happening in North Korea, and I just can't sleep at night. That's a horrible thing to hear. Also it could be something as simple as when I first started out in investing in my company's 401k, it was only $50,000 and the world was a lot simpler. And now I'm retired and I have different wants and needs and pulls at my time. And I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel like I have the education nor the time to actually manage this anymore. So again, back to stress. If there's a life event or a health change, I want to retire. I want to go on a world vacation and not have to worry about this. Or, there's some sort of physical or mental change where you're not able to keep as actively involved as you did. And then to dovetail with that one, love and legacy, preparing your needs, your wants, your desires for your spouse or your next generation if they're not necessarily as involved in finances and financial services acumen as you are. We work with a couple in the Boston area. They're both in their 80s. He's a little bit older. She's a little younger. Very, very cool, very sharp people, extremely active, sharp as a tack. But he's traditionally been more involved in the investment decisions and financial planning and just kind of helming that part of their relationship and their family. And she hasn't. And she knows that if something were to happen to her husband, she would not feel comfortable. It would be a stressful event for her if she was thrust into the position where she had to make all those decisions. So she loves that we all work together because we've gotten to know her situation, her husband's, hers, the family's intimately. And she feels that there's trust, there's a long-term relationship between all of us. And she just sees it as a no-brainer that we continue to help her and her family if, God forbid, anything happened to her husband.
Great. Okay. You've convinced me. I should probably hire help, ask for some help. But if I've come to that realization that I should ask for help, what should I look for in an advisor? Because there's thousands of advisors out there, all with different strategies and styles. And what should I be looking for?
Mm-hmm. Well, I applaud you for accepting help. That's a very hard first step to take. But I would bring it back to your comfort level and what you're looking for. Does it feel like the right fit after I've had this conversation, after I've shared these intimate details with, the advisor on the other side of the table? Do I feel like they're really listening to me when I speak to them as a client or as a potential new client? Are they responsive to my questions and concerns in a timely manner? Are they providing any additional education if I'm looking for it? Do I really feel like they're trying to bring me in and incorporate me? And are they laying out a plan for me, or is it just a portfolio that I'm another investor in and there's no personality or personal touch there? I'd say it's a marriage analogy. It should be a long-term relationship that has shared philosophies, common goals, open communication, strong bond. Beauty is fleeting, and so is performance. So hopefully it's more than just that.
So before I enter into this long-term relationship and to draw out some of those kind of softer sides of the relationship, what are some questions I should be asking?
I would ask specifically about communication. Who am I going to speak with if I'm a client? Is it, the advisor I met with originally? Is it a team member after we have the initial relationship? Is it a combination of the both? Or does it seem to be a revolving door and my advisor changes, every couple of months I call? Compensation is important. There's so many ways you can get help in terms of investment and financial planning. You could work with a broker-dealer, and they get paid on a commission base, so they're getting a cut of any transaction they're making in your portfolio, whether they're buying or selling. You could work with a registered investment advisor, such as Advisor Investments, where we're fee only. And then you could also work with someone who's more on a supervisory or a monitoring level, where you might bring a couple of stocks that you're looking at and ask their recommendation and see if they think you should actually purchase it. And they might charge you on an hourly basis or something of that nature. But I think that's probably crucial to kind of figure out, are there potentially any other hands behind the scenes or strings that are being pulled that might influence how this person would recommend investments for me or help my family? And I'd say last, are there any additional services you could provide? It's a great big world. It takes a village. And, are they able to help me prepare my taxes, help with estate planning documents, even just review those as part of kind of the overall relationship? What other tools they have in this great day and age? There's wonderful technology out there. Do they have something great that would really blow my mind to get me excited about working with them? Something like that.
Yeah. No, that's great, Claudine. I think you've given people even contemplating an advisor some things to think about and hopefully some questions to start asking if they do take that next step. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
This is Jeff DeMaso, and I want to thank you for listening to another of our Advisor You Can Talk To podcasts. I've been speaking with Claudine Schrock. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe to our podcast or check us out at advisoryoucantalktopodcast.com. Your feedback is always welcome. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to explore, please email us at info@advisorinvestments.com. Thank you for listening.